I don't know about you, but I've made some mistakes as a digital entrepreneur. Some cost a lot of money and others cost me in time and energy. But I believe in sharing what I've learned. So today I'm going to pull back the curtain on the 5 biggest mistakes that I've made in my business so that you don't have to make those same mistakes as well. Yes, there are probably some people out there who might be thinking, but we should all have to make mistakes. And yeah, that's true. We're all going to make mistakes. We can learn a lot from making mistakes. However, we do not need to repeat the exact same mistakes that someone else has made before us. So in business, we need to support one another, right? We need support from one another. Otherwise, this journey is just hard. It's more complicated than it needs to be. That's why today I'm going to share with you the 5 mistakes that cost me the most in building my business. And at the end, I'll be sharing the best way to avoid mistake number 5 to give you an added boost forward.
Anyone can add a digital course to their business. So what sets the 6-figure course creators apart? You're about to find out. Welcome to the Digital Course Creator Podcast with Dr. Maura, a longtime entrepreneur now using her PhD in psychology to help you go from sticky notes to sales worth celebrating.
When I got started as an entrepreneur years ago, I had very little business experience. But what I lacked in experience, I made up for in sheer determination. That determination did not protect me from making mistakes, though. Some of them were a doozy that led to completely failed launches and wondering whether I could even make my business work. Maybe you're in that place right now. Maybe you're wondering, can I even make my business work? What's my next step? What do I need to change? Working hard and sheer determination is not a guarantee for success. Because hard work, what does that really mean? What does success mean? How do you figure out when you've made it? Instead of focusing on hard work and sheer determination, isn't it more important to really look to others, learn from their experiences so that we can emulate what works well and ditch what doesn't sooner? Yeah. So today, let's pull back the cover on the 5 biggest mistakes that I've made as a digital entrepreneur so that you can learn from and maybe prevent yourself from falling into these same mistakes. And you'll want to stick around to the end because I am going to share the best way to counteract mistake number 5 that will save you time, energy, and money. One of the early mistakes that I made in my business was to focus on my service or offer before ever building an audience. I made the same classic mistake that I see so many course creators making. We are experts in our area, right? We are experts in our zone of genius. We know what people need, and then we go out and we build what they need, assuming that they are just going to come clamoring for it. If you build it, they will come, right? And what happens is that our audience doesn't just come flocking and knocking down on our door. In fact, it's more like a situation of tumbleweeds rolling over hot, dry, cracked, barren dirt. It might look like others have been able to simply create an offer and sell it, but they have audiences already built even if you can't see it. They have a solid email list, they have connections, or they have partners who are selling their offer for them, or maybe some other situation that we just don't know about that's hidden away. The solution to this mistake is to build your audience. Get to know them. Learn what they want alongside what they need. When you understand what they want, you are going to be much better able and much better positioned to sell your offer to them successfully. This combined with actually having people and many people to make your offer to is why it is a mistake to build your offer before your audience. You've got to have the audience first. We all make mistakes in our businesses. And although it might be something that we want to dust under the rug, I'm pulling back that rug today because I do want you to benefit from my mistakes. I want you to avoid them and make progress faster. One big mistake that I made, and I see the majority of entrepreneurs making, is buying all kinds of solutions, courses, workshops, without having a clear plan in place or a decisive need. The reality is that you can buy an endless number of courses and never make a dime if they are not targeted, progress-driven learning opportunities that you can take action on right now. The key is to stay focused on the pieces that you actually need to get in place. Only buy the learning opportunities that support those pieces that you have to put into place. If we needed every course out there to be successful, no one would be profitable. I bet you can even imagine a time when you were doing something new and didn't feel like you had all of the answers, but instead of looking for more help, you just kind of jumped in. It feels big and scary. This entrepreneur thing is outside of many people's knowledge, expertise, experience. I get it. It's scary. I slipped into the same trap at the beginning as well. I was buying up courses. I was buying workshops. It is all the more easier to make this mistake when expert marketers are helping you to see that you need their thing in a really persuasive way. This is because they are master marketers. You can actually learn from their techniques. The key is to observe, but do not get sucked into their funnel. Don't get sucked into all of the different offers that they're putting out there. By all means, attend those free webinars, those masterclasses, participate in the challenges, but only if it's going to help you build your own masterclass, your own challenge, understand how they function, if it might be an ideal opportunity for your business. So instead of buying endless courses, choose the ones that have a clear outcome that you need in your business and that you cannot otherwise figure out. Or even if you could figure it out, buying that course, that workshop, that template would save you a ton of time. Because we know things aren't just about cost in terms of money, but also in terms of time and energy. Have you noticed that social media tends to show us the successes, the big sales totals, and the easy breezy process of building a business? That fact isn't reality for most entrepreneurs, at least out of the gate. Building a business takes time, and we all make mistakes. So far, we've talked about 2 mistakes: focusing on your offer before building an audience, and buying a lot of courses without having a solid plan for how you're going to use them, when you're going to use them, and if you actually need them. The third mistake that I made was to build a big, huge launch before validating my offer. What does that mean? Well, it means that I created a massive webinar, wrote all of the email sequences to go with that webinar, created the content for the offer. I built sales pages. I even ran ads. I had it all. And the result was a big flop. The truth is that this happens to a large percentage of course creators. They create their course, build their launch mechanism, and hit go only to be met with low or no sales. Isn't it more important to focus on building something that will sell than building the mechanism to sell it? Even though it creates a slower journey to that very first launch, that big launch, isn't it better to have a successful launch than to simply have a launch? Validate that offer. Get people who are lined up and ready to say yes. Ask for feedback. Get their thoughts on pricing, on resources, on parts of the offer so that your launch is successful and so that it doesn't flop like one of my launches did when I rushed the process. There are always exceptions to the rule, right? But honestly, just like a brick and mortar business takes around 7 years to become profitable, the same is true of digital businesses as well. There are so many successful entrepreneurs out there selling their products and offerings, telling you that, yes, you can do this too. It feels like success is just right around the corner and it's going to happen quickly. The truth is that success in your early years of business probably won't be measured in dollar signs, but instead in how much progress you've made in developing your business, in developing new connections, in the processes and the systems that you've put in place to get to profitability. And even, yes, the mistakes that you've made that you've turned into gains. So instead of thinking of success and thinking about having a six-figure business that they're going to happen quickly, instead develop a mindset of consistent work and progress to get to that six-figure point. Now, making mistakes in business is part of the process. It is one of the ways that we learn. It's how we grow. But that doesn't mean that we have to make all of the mistakes to be successful. Today, I have already shared with you 4 of the mistakes that I made in my business with the hopes that you don't have to make these same mistakes. You'll make your own, but hopefully not these 5. We've talked about focusing on your offer before building an audience, and that can be challenging, right? Buying courses without a plan. We've talked about the mistake of building a launch without validating your offer and the mistake of thinking that success is going to come quickly in the digital space. And that brings us to the 5th and final mistake that I'm sharing today. And you'll want to hang out to the end of the episode because I'm going to share with you not just this mistake right now, but I'm going to share with you how to manage this in a way that keeps you moving forward and saves you angst and time and energy. The biggest mistake that I made was feeling guilty over my slow growth and progress early on in my business. That guilt served no beneficial purpose whatsoever. In fact, when we slip into feeling guilty, it can slow down our progress. It can make us dread the business that we started with such passion. It can even bring in this doubt and make us doubt whether we can continue on and make it work. Feeling guilt, while it's normal, is a pressure that we are better off without putting on ourselves. The question remains, how do we do that? And I'm going to share how I manage that in my business. But before we do that, I do want to take a moment to set some action items with you. Because in hearing the mistakes that I've made in my business, you might be thinking about the mistakes that you've made. Maybe they're some of the same ones. Or maybe you're currently about to make one of the mistakes that I've made and now you are rethinking some things. This week, be sure to look at your business. Look at the actions that you're taking, that you've taken in the past, that you are contemplating taking in the future, and explore what is going to be most beneficial for your business. What might you want to ditch in an effort to make faster progress, more meaningful progress toward your goal? Because growth in your business, it's going to be all about strategy. Finding that right strategy, especially when you take into account the need to focus not just on messaging and course design, but on mindset, and finding the right progress-driven learning opportunities can feel so big. This is something that I've been managing in my own business, with my students, and in my college courses for over 15 years as a psychology professor, mentor, and entrepreneur. One of the key things that I've learned is that we can't just rely on learning to get up to that 6-figure mark as a course creator. I know this might sound weird as a college professor, but the books, the podcasts, the courses, the workshops, they only get us partially there, maybe 10% of the way there to success. But the other 90% often comes down to mindset work through one-on-one support. If you are listening today, you're listening to these mistakes and you're realizing that you are ready to take the next steps in your business without maybe so many mistakes, you're ready to get one-on-one customized, tailored help with building your digital course business, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I want to help you avoid the mistakes. I want to help you lean into the actions that will not just earn you money, but create longevity in your business. If that sounds like you, send me a DM at Digital Course Creator Guide on Instagram or Facebook, and we'll sit down to figure out the next right steps for you and your digital course business. Now, I know that not everyone is ready for a one-on-one coach or strategist, but you might still have questions. You might need help getting unstuck or just plotting out your next step. I'm here for that as well, because we all deserve to have support in our business. If you need a little extra support, I hold at least 2 slots each week for strategy calls that are designed to help you get unstuck and take action in your business. These are free, no obligation calls, and you can schedule your call at coursecalls.com. If you are ready to make the next 12 months the year that you go from being an uncertain course creator to a 6-figure course creator, schedule a strategy call today. Again, the link to schedule is coursecalls.com, and I'll pop that link in the show notes for you as well. One of the best ways to overcome guilt when your business isn't growing as fast as you'd like is to look at the progress that you've made. When you look at how far you've come instead of what you haven't achieved yet, it does a few things. It increases motivation, gives you hope, and generates ideas for how to keep that momentum going because you can see what has been working. You can do more of that and abandon the actions that are not having an impact. If you were to focus on how far you have to go to achieve your goals, you'll find that guilt, despair, frustration, even anxiety start to take root. Even if you just have one of those, it can stop your progress as effectively as walking into a brick wall. Look for the progress that you've made, regardless of how small it might seem, and do more of that. And if you want more quick solutions for building a successful digital course and creating magnetic messaging, hit follow now.